Tragus Piercings. Going to go through the advantages, disadvantages, pros and cons. I'm a piercer and I'm going to tell you what I think about it. Coming up right now. Those that are new to the channel or aren't aware of who I am, my name is DaVo. I'm a professional body piercer and have been since 1994. I'm the owner and operator of the Axiom Body Piercing Studio here in Des Moines, Iowa, and we share space with Skin Kitchen Tattoo. So when I'm talking to you about this, I'm talking to you at a level of expertise that I've done a number of these piercings and had a lot of clients heal it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through 5 advantages, 5 disadvantages, in other words, 5 pros, 5 cons, of why this piercing is good, why it's bad, why it might not be the best fit for you, to help you make an educated decision on whether or not you want to get it done. Number 1, widely accepted socially. Most people don't even know the notice the piercing at all. Depending on your hair length, it may be covered. It's not one of those piercings that just kind of reaches out and draws your attention into it. It's more of a subtle piercing. Number 2, there's a large variety of different types of jewelry styles and types that can fit into that piercing. Everything from very subtle Lobe studs or threadless or threaded jewelry to very detailed, very ornate ends to just the plain old fashioned classic cat bead ring or beaded ring. So you have a lot of variety to work with. Short healing time. This piercing isn't really prone that much to grumpiness. I've had a good success rate with them healing if they're done correctly. Research your piercer. Usually not a quick or not a bad heal. Usually heals out in roughly about 8 to 12 weeks. Not unlike other piercings that can take up to a year. So it's a fairly easy piercing to heal. It stands out and it draws attention to your ear. If you're kind of frames your face and kind of draws into that area, it enhances the area. It looks good. It's one of those piercings that does seem like it fits where it belongs. So that would be number 5. Or that would be number 4. Now we're going to do number 5. Has a long history of healing correctly and with little or no problem. This isn't a piercing that somebody came up with a few years ago and decided it was a good idea. This piercing has been being done professionally in the body piercing industry for probably about 30-35 years and has been done before that probably by numerous ancient cultures. I didn't bother to look that up this time. I'm sure it's somewhere in my noggin. I just can't find it right now. Now let's go into the cons. The disadvantages. Number 1, any ear piercing is going to come in contact with a lot of different material objects, such as bedding, clothing, glasses, anything that comes in contact with your ear. Because it's to the front of the ear, you do have to also be conscious that it can come in contact with makeup, powder-based makeups, and etc. So that has to be taken into consideration. Excessive contact with a piercing during the healing process, and I'll get into this a little bit more in detail later, can cause issues, including hypertrophic scarring. Shifting the jewelry constantly or moving the jewelry constantly can cause a whole load of problems. Also, it can lead to infection. So it's one of those piercings you kind of have to put it in the safety zone and keep things away from it. Piercing can close pretty quickly. This is not one of those piercings that's going to stay open for a long period of time. It really depends on how long you've had it, but I'd say on average, most people, if they leave it out for a couple hours to a couple days, varying from how healthy they are, this piercing can close. It's just one of those piercings you definitely want to leave something in it. Number 3, even after the piercing is healed, it can affect your ability to wear earbuds, headphones, even over-the-ear headphones, any type of stethoscopes or anything that goes into your ear can be affected even after the piercing heals. It's just located right there at the beginning of your ear canal, so it's going to get in contact with stuff. Number 4, can't sleep on the piercing. Need to sleep on your other side or your back, or figure out some way of elevating off the bed. As I said earlier, this piercing does come in contact with a lot of different items throughout the day, like telephones, etc., or has the possibility to, and you really have to avoid that. Sleeping on it, we really don't understand, even though it's not going to hurt when we lay down on it, the movement and shifting and adjusting we do while we sleep can cause a lot of abuse to a healing piercing and begin issues that are very difficult to get rid of. So you definitely have to plan ahead on that one. You're not going to want to sleep on it. Now this is the part where I break down what I normally would give you as a consultation if you came in to get this piercing before we went ahead and filled out, paperwork and paid me and all that stuff. And did the piercing, of course. And then went through the aftercare. So here's the basic consultation. Average healing time is roughly 8 to 12 weeks, during which time you're going to be cleaning it twice a day in the shower using an antimicrobial or germicidal soap. Also doing hot compresses or soaks with warm water and sea salt twice daily for 10 minutes. Cross-contamination prevention, common sense things. Washing your hands before you handle it, no oral contact, no exchange of bodily fluids, keeping your environment clean, clothing, bedding, towels, not submerging the piercing in bodies of water you can't control the quality of, which means no swimming. Also keeping pets away from it. Don't let them sleep in the bed with you. Avoiding contact with unclean objects like telephones, earbuds, headphones, helmets, anything that's constrictive or comes in contact with that piercing. Unless you have a way of cleaning it, you want to keep it away from it. Sleeping, as I mentioned earlier, you do not want to sleep on the piercing. You want to try to sleep on your other side or your back. Another thing that you need to be concerned about is anything that comes out of a spray can or squirt bottle and you use in your hair, you're going to want to shield it with folded up paper towel. So, some things I always tell people, if you're planning on going on vacation or as summer's coming up and you know you're not going to be able to make it without swimming at least once, this is a piercing you should probably put off till the fall. And now you know. So, that covers the tragus piercing. Pros and cons, advantages, disadvantages, things you should know before you get it done. I have to tell you, nothing is better than going in and sitting down with a piercer and talking to them and discussing whether or not the piercing is a good choice. Always go through a consultation with your piercer before getting it done. This is one of those piercings that can be affected by anatomy, and if you don't have the correct anatomy, you will see issues. So, do talk to your piercer beforehand. Ask plenty of questions. Feel comfortable with that person and get to know them. Now, other than that, if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you feel like I brought up a subject and didn't completely explain it, or you would like to have some questions answered that I didn't cover, please leave a comment. I do answer them on a regular basis, and I'll be happy to carry on a conversation with you. Also, if you don't agree with me, post a comment. Let's learn something together. Then I would suggest subscribing if you're into body art. If you're into body piercing or tattooing, I put educational body piercing videos on this channel on 2 to 3 a week. I like to keep it up. And also we have the tattoo side of it. Skin Kitchen does help with the weekly updates with the tattoo of the week. And we do the Q&A in the kitchen every other Sunday. So if you don't want to miss any of that, subscribe. That's the easiest way to do it. And hit the notification bell so it annoys you. If you don't want to be annoyed by notifications, don't hit the notification bell. It's that simple. Till then, if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area and you want to get a piercing, I hope to see you for your piercing needs in the future.